Hello friends, welcome back. After 3 months of procrastination, it is finally my pleasure to present to you my 1 year and 1,000 mile review of my Royal Enfield Interceptor 650. Every great journey begins with a call to adventure. I am holding a script here because I cannot for the life of me remember my lines, so please bear with me. So my story started more than 20 years ago when I was just a couple years old growing up in Beijing, China. Some of the most memorable moments of my childhood were those of sightseeing with my grandfather on his motorcycle. Many years prior, he was an officer in the Motorcycle Corps and rode the very first motorcycles ever produced in China after the Second World War. Fast forward to 2022. My call to adventure was bestowed upon me when my grandfather found himself on a hospital bed due to his declining health. With COVID restrictions and being 6,000 miles away, there was nothing I could possibly do. So I felt an unparalleled sense of urgency to connect with my grandfather on a deeper level in any way possible and by any means necessary, in hopes to bring me closer to my grandfather on a more spiritual level. Combined with my chronic tendencies to impulsively buy things, I researched restlessly and finally settled on purchasing this Royal Enfield Interceptor 650 you see behind me. As I depart from the ordinary world into the thrill-seeking and adrenaline-filled world of motorcycling, the first relationship one must establish is the one between the man and the machine. The more you know about your machine, the more connected you will feel. It's almost like another part of your body, an extension of your consciousness. As the name of my trusted companion suggests, it is powered by an air and oil-cooled 648cc parallel twin engine. The 6-speed slipper clutch gearbox is a godsend for beginner riders like me. It is very forgiving and makes shifting so much easier. The engine is caressed by a tubular steel frame. Above sits a beautifully painted 3.1-gallon tank, giving you about 170 miles of range. Front and rear disc brakes made by Byberry, which is a subsidiary of Brembo. They offer a tremendous amount of stopping power right out of the factory. And it also sports a 2-channel Bosch ABS system. How convenient. Though the forks are not adjustable, the bronze color suspensions have plenty of room for travel. 4.3 inches at the front and 3.5 inches at the rear. Pretty decent for all applications. As a petrolhead, it is hard to avoid the never-ending dick measuring contest of who has the fastest ride. Sure, your BMW S1000RR has 205 horsepower with a top speed of 193 miles per hour and can go 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. But the streets are not your racetrack. In my honest opinion, it's much more important to focus on what truly matters. Having fun with what you have and enjoying the ride. Bring a gun to a knife fight all you want, but personally, I don't have the need for speed. The Interceptor 650 produces more than enough power for my applications. Sure, I wouldn't be able to keep up with the sport bikes, but I'm certainly having the same amount of fun. As they say in the car world, it is much more fun to drive a slow car fast than to drive a fast car slow. And I think that applies to motorcycles as well. Every hero faces trials and challenges on their journey. It is time we navigate through the design and build quality of this machine, testing its ergonomics and comfort like true champions. The classic British motorcycle design is a timeless masterpiece. Adhering to the golden rule of design, Royal Enfield has kept it simple for the past 60 years. And as they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But nothing is ever perfect in this world. Every good design has its drawbacks. And for the Interceptor 650, it's its ergonomics and build quality. There's no doubt that it punches way above its weight in terms of value. I mean, you are getting a lot of bike for about $7,000. That's only half the price of a Triumph Bonneville. Yeah, it would definitely be great if it sported more metal hardwares and accessories, better brake and clutch lever, and a more comfortable seat, but I think that would be asking a little too much. It certainly won't look very good on Royal Enfield's balance sheets, nor the price sheet at the dealer. The one inconvenience everyone likes to talk about with the Interceptor 650 is the placement of the foot pegs. It does take a little getting used to because it's exactly where your feet and legs want to be when coming to a stop, but I find this to be a very negligible problem. It's an extremely well-built and durable piece of machinery for an unbeatable price. Even better, Royal Enfield has addressed many of its shortcomings in the latest iteration of the Interceptor 650. LED headlights, alloy wheels, tubeless tires, and a new seat are some of the biggest changes the newest model has to offer. In our quest, we often meet allies who aid us on our path. The Royal Enfield community is full of genuinely helpful folks who are always there to help whenever anyone encounters an obstacle. Like any group of enthusiasts, everyone is eager to share their latest modifications and customizations. Here are some of the many comments from my initial review video. YouTube creators such as Stuart Fillingham, Pinche Al's Garage, Wildlife Moto, and Nick and Jody's episodes are just a few of the many folks whose content and knowledge has helped me tremendously throughout my journey and will continue to do so. Like many have said before me, the Royal Enfield Interceptor 650 is a wonderful platform and an open canvas for any customizations your imagination sees fit. From cafe racers to scramblers to even bobbers, the possibilities are truly endless. Personally, I have yet to make any major modifications. Here's the list of everything I've done so far. I removed the front and rear plastic mud flaps and orange reflectors. I installed a pair of crash bars, which helped tremendously when I dropped it for the first time. I installed a short tinted Flyscreen. It does have a noticeable difference above 50 miles an hour. I had a little clock in the middle of the handlebar, but the movement failed after a couple months, so I took it off. In its place is a RAM mount for my phone and garage door opener. I replaced the mirrors with these adjustable bar end mirrors from Amazon. They're not the highest quality, so I plan on replacing them soon. I taped over the INT 650 logo on the side panels and personalized them with some stickers. I also strapped a chalk bag to the frame as a dump bag / quick storage option. Then I removed the rear grab handle and foot pegs since I don't plan on carrying any pillion passengers anytime soon. And lastly, I removed half of the tail light assembly for a cleaner and simpler tail end. Adhering to the golden rule of if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I've only done the bare minimums in terms of modifications. In the future, I plan on upgrading the entire braking system to a Brembo setup for better braking performance, the throttle and grips to a higher quality and better feeling one, the clutch cable to a Van Hill Featherlight clutch cable, a custom Corbin seat, yeah, that's going to be expensive, but a custom Corbin seat for looks and comfort, and a lighter and more throaty exhaust system for obvious reasons. And hey, if there are any companies out there who would like to send in some products for me to review and share my honest and unbiased opinion on, I would gladly oblige. Now it's time to venture into the inner cave, that is, the riding experience. We'll journey through the city streets, the highway, and the back roads. facing the inner and outer challenges that come our way. Being my very first bike, I learned to ride on my Interceptor. It was a pretty big beast to tame for an absolute beginner. When stationary, you can feel all of its 500 pounds because of its high center of gravity. However, as you get moving, the bike balances itself out and the weight disappears. I can't speak on its off-road performance since there aren't any opportunities here in Southern California to go off-road and experience that. However, what I can say is that navigating through city streets is a piece of cake. The bike feels very agile while riding. The throttle is exceptionally smooth with no surprises, but it also offers a lot of power if you really go down on it, if you want. Although it doesn't pack as much punch as its competitors, it's still powerful enough to take on country roads, I meant back roads and highways. However, at top gear over 75 miles per hour on the highway, sometimes it feels like I'm going to run out of space on the tachometer. 80 miles an hour, 75 miles an hour. It feels stable. It feels very, very stable at this speed. It's just that I'm in top gear. Look at that thing. And I can't really accelerate because I'm at the top. In any hero's journey, the Ordeal is the ultimate test. Here, we will explore the maintenance and reliabilities, the cost and potential obstacles that can threaten our quest. The factory 3-year warranty is comforting, but I doubt you'll ever use it. These things are built like a Glock, extremely durable and always reliable. The service intervals are very straightforward. The first service at 300 miles after the break-in period, which consists of an oil change and valve adjustments. I was robbed of $600 by my dealer for this first service, so lesson learned. Going forward, I will be doing all the future services by myself and will only consider bringing it in should a major problem arise. After the first service, change the oil and filter every 6,000 miles and spark plugs every 12,000 miles, then you're good to go. It is recommended to check and adjust the valve clearance every 3,000 miles. It is quite a time-consuming task, but it's better to be safe than sorry. If you're mechanically inept like me, I highly recommend doing some research and buying some tools. Like I said in the beginning of the video, the closer you are to your machine, the better it will treat you. As heroes in our own stories, we all tend to seek rewards. In this section, I will share my personal experiences and the joys of ownership. We'll celebrate the moments that make it all worthwhile. If there were 100 levels to motorcycle riding skills, I'm likely at a decent 20. From learning how to ride in a parking lot to comfortably riding up and down the Pacific coast and into the heart of Los Angeles, my Interceptor has been my most trusted companion through all the highs and lows of this journey. It has attracted lots of curious eyes and garnered the attention of many fellow riders and non-riders alike. Given that Royal Enfield is still a relatively unknown brand here in the United States, most people misidentify it as a Triumph. It does look like a Triumph, yeah. That's what everybody says. Nonetheless, the reaction is always a thumbs up, a smile, and a nod. Even though I was not able to share my experiences and joy of riding with my late grandfather, I'm sure he's looking down at me smiling, watching over me on every ride. And that is the biggest reward. The return journey can be bittersweet. I'll conclude this journey by summarizing the pros and cons, offering my final verdict, and considering the road ahead for my Interceptor 650. The biggest deciding factor for anyone interested in the Royal Enfield Interceptor 650 is most often the unbeatable value. For half the price of a Triumph Bonneville, you will get twice the head turns and curiosity. The biggest drawback would be the build quality and missing features. You get what you see, no fancy bells and whistles. Then again, At this price, what is there to really complain about? For some, it's cheap enough to be negligible, but also expensive enough to be respectable. My final verdict is, whether you are a seasoned rider with half a century of experience or an absolute beginner looking for their very first bike, the Royal Enfield Interceptor 650 should be at the top of your list of considerations. A true modern classic with timeless retro styling, complemented by modern reliability and creature comforts. It's a headache-free fun machine and a pretty effective antidepressant. And if you're creative, it's also a blank canvas to customize and personalize to your heart's content. This is my very first motorcycle, and it has definitely earned a permanent place in my garage and all future garages to come should I get to that point. And that concludes my 1 year and 1,000 mile review of my Royal Enfield Interceptor 650. I hope you have enjoyed this adventure as much as I did. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and please consider subscribing if you would like to join me on future adventures. Until then, ride safe, my fellow heroes.
On the road again, just can't wait to get on the road again. The life I love is making music with my friends. I can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again, going places that I've never been, seeing things that I may never see again. I can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again, like a band of gypsies, we go down the highway. We're the best of friends, persisting as the world keep turning our way, and our way. On the road again, just can't wait to get on the road.